Hello and welcome back to the CVU Show. My name is Marin Walsh and I'll be your host. Last Thursday, we hosted the CVU at a Glance, where families and guardians could check out their students' classes and meet with their teachers. Last week, from Wednesday evening to sundown on Thursday, Yom Kippur was celebrated, while Friday was a holiday due to parent-teacher conferences. I hope you enjoyed your long weekend. Juniors, start studying for the PSAT. The PSAT is scheduled for October 17th and will be a half day off for school. If you are not taking the PSAT, you are still required to come and work on iReady testing, except for seniors. You're off the hook. The PSAT is just practice for the SAT, but it is highly similar to the real test. It is also used to qualify those who get a score from 1400 to 1600 for the National Merit Scholarship. To help prepare, go on YouTube and search for tips on how to improve your score, starting with learning how to use the tools. You can also go to Khan Academy for practice questions. Picture retake day will be on Tuesday, October 21st in the mini gym. So remember to get your picture taken if you missed picture day last month. Seniors, the deadline to order cap and gown is November 1st, so don't let that date slip by. Also, senior portraits are due for the yearbook on November 7th. For this week's hallway interview questions, we asked your classmates about their favorite fall activities. Let's take a look.
My favorite fall activity is frolicking through the leaves.
My favorite fall activity is apple picking.
My favorite fall activity is playing basketball.
My favorite fall activity is probably going biking, especially when all the leaves are colorful.
Watching scary movies.
I think my favorite fall activity is probably going for long walks and looking at the leaves.
I like to play volleyball and I like to listen to music.
My favorite fall activity is jumping in leaves.
My favorite fall activity is apple picking.
Thank you all for answering our question this week. Personally, I love to bake apple pie. Next, we have Xavier Mello with the weather report for the upcoming week.
Thanks, Marin. Here to tell you guys what the weather is going to be like for next week. Sunday and Monday are expected to be sunny with a high of 80 degrees. In contrast, Tuesday and Wednesday are forecast to be rainy with a high of 63 degrees. Thursday and Friday are partly cloudy with a high of 64, and Saturday is 66 and mostly cloudy. That's all for the weather. Stay healthy, folks, and back to you, Marin.
Thank you, Xavier. Up next, we have a very special interview with Tyler Alexander, a history teacher here at CVU. He has just published a book about the Civil War. Let's hear more about it.
Good afternoon, CVU. I'm Jordan Goodspeed, and today I'm here with
Tyler Alexander.
So you recently published a book. Can you tell us what that book is about?
Sure. It's called If I Can Get Home This Fall, a story of love, loss, and a cause in the Civil War. It's about a Vermont soldier who served in the Civil War. It's a true story. It's nonfiction. And I've included his letters that he wrote home to his sweetheart, who he then married. And so it's very moving and compelling. It's an intimate human story of what ordinary people here at that time lived through and how they thought about the meaning of the war.
Yeah. So what inspired you to write this book?
I've always been interested in American history and specifically the Civil War, and it's the greatest, most traumatic event in our nation's history, the deadliest event, and many of the divisions that we are seeing right now can be traced back to that time period, and there are still some open wounds that go back to the 19th century or before, especially with issues of the legacy of slavery and race. So you can't really look at the Civil War without exploring those issues.
Yeah. So you teach history at CVU, right?
Yes, and government.
Sorry. How long have you been teaching here?
This is only my second year at CVU. I was teaching in the Northeast Kingdom for 17 years prior to that, so 19 years altogether as a teacher in Vermont.
Wow, that's really cool. So when you were writing the book, how long did it take, and what would you say the writing process was like?
It took about 5 years from beginning to end, and because this is a collection of original letters, half the battle was, no pun intended, was to just transcribe them, looking at the original letters in cursive and then typing them so that people could read them and understand them. And then the other 2 years or so was taking that collection and then weaving together my own narrative to explain what these letters were about.
What would you say your favorite quote in your book has been that you wrote?
The story, the heart of the story is this soldier's story and his letters. So I'll read one to you that I think is maybe the most eloquent of his letters. He wrote this 2 days after Abraham Lincoln delivered his Gettysburg Address.
Wow.
And he said, when one feels he is battling for the right, when he thinks of the principles he is supporting, when he thinks that he is knocking out the rotten, treacherous walls of slavery on which our government has tattered and reeled, threatening to engulf us from the commencement, and substituting in place of the granite walls of freedom, when he thinks that his government is passing through the fiery ordeal, when he thinks that the eyes of all civilized nations are looking on, speculating whether a Republican government can sustain itself or not, then it is that the soldier's heart swells with emotions of pride and patriotism, and trusting in the God of battles, he nerves himself to the conflict. Under such feelings, the roar of cannon and the rattle of musketry and the din of war become grand and sublime. So you get a sense of his style, elegance, and to me, as a history geek, I read something like that on the original paper that it was written on, and it's just really fascinating and mesmerizing.
So what is something that stands out to you in your book?
I think this is a story that Vermont can be very proud of, and we had a very good record in the Civil War, both militarily but also politically, in standing up against slavery and really arguing for a new birth of freedom, as Lincoln said at Gettysburg. And that's something that we can draw inspiration from today as we tackle similar questions about what it means to be an American. And
so where can we find your book?
you can find it at local independent bookstores like Phoenix Books or the Flying Pig bookstore in Shelburne. And I'm going to be hosting a talk at the Pearson Library next Thursday at 7 p.m. The Pearson Library.
That's really cool. So thank you so much about telling us about your book. Back to you, Marin.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alexander, for letting us interview you. For our last section, we'll be panning over to sports with Blake Companion and Michael Moshovides.
Hello, Hawks. How are you doing? It's your boys Blake
and Big City Mike. Our Champlain Valley girls varsity volleyball team defeated St. Johnsbury Academy 3-0 at home on September 29th, improving their season record to 4-3 and placing them 4th in the Division I standings. The team is scheduled to play South Burlington High School this upcoming Friday.
Our Champlain Valley boys varsity golf team showcased a remarkable success during the 2025 season, led by medalist Cooper Guerrier, who shot 1 under. The Redhawks dominated the Division I qualifier, finishing first with a team score of 296. The strong performance secured their spot in the state championship, where they aim to continue their winning traditions.
In a hard-fought battle between top-ranked teams, our Champlain Valley boys varsity soccer team suffered their first loss of the season, falling to South Burlington High School 2-1 in a road match on Tuesday night. South Burlington's victory extends its winning streak to 5 games, bringing its record to 5-3-1, while the Redhawks' record now stands at 6-1-1. This marks the first defeat of the season for the reigning Division I state champions, Redhawks.
Roll Hawks! Back to the studio.
Well, that's it for another episode on the CVU Show. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and Roll Hawks!